One of my favorite Autobot subgroups, probably right behind the Dinobots, is the Minibots. I've always loved the Minibots. They're so small, they're so much fun. Their original G1 toys are just full of fun. And they've had a lot of great modern updates over the years, but I think what they're doing currently with the Generations Minibots is the absolute best of the best. Yes, even Cliffjumper and Bumblebee, I admit. And now, Legacy Evolution has provided us with another Minibot update to provide to our shelf, and it's none other than Little Beachcomber, who is going to be the subject of today's deceptibot9 reviews. Let's comb some beaches! How's it going, everyone? deceptibot9 here, and thank you as always for joining me for another episode of deceptibot9 reviews. Now, before we get into the bot, I'd like to ask, if you like what you see, go ahead, leave me a like. Plus, if you are not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. It does really truly mean a lot to me. We're getting so close to 1,000. Let's do it! And of course, if you want to find me anywhere else on the internet, all of my social links are in the description down below. And so with all that said, without further ado, let's head down to the review station to check out Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. Alright, and so here we are with a closer look at Legacy Evolution Beachcomber, and I think overall he's pretty solid. He is a solid little bot. I do enjoy many aspects of him. He's a little simplistic, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think I was just not expecting him to be as simple as he was, but he came out great. There's some really cool stuff going on with him, especially with these wheels, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, that's a quick overview of him there. Let's go ahead, get a closer look at the details on this guy. Alright, coming up first, of course, with this head sculpt, and it looks very Beachcomber. It's very, very nice. I do quite enjoy it a lot. It's very blue, obviously. I don't know if it's... I'm pretty sure it is molded in that blue. It'd obviously be a lot of paint if they did it that way. But his goggles are painted that nice silvery color. You can see one of his accessories up here is his little paradise parakeet, little birdie made out of soft rubber. We do like that. There's not much going on to him, obviously. I'll talk about him when we talk about accessories. But yeah, he sits up there. He looks nice. If we come down, we get the traditional Beachcomber chest style with the little Autobot symbol, mix of silvers and grays. I think this gray is, you know, the molded color, and this darker one is the painted. Little tummy section here, yellow, blue, red paint stuff going on there. A little bit of molded detail here on the waist, over on the arms as well, a little bit going on there. And we get the wheels, which of course you can spin with your finger if you like. You got a nice silver going on there. They're on pins. And the tires here, which you can see, I don't know if you can tell on camera quite yet, they are rubber tires. So very, very nice to see the return of rubber wheels on Transformers. I do not remember the last time that a figure had rubber tires, but it's very nice to go back to that, honestly. I do really, really enjoy that a lot. Moving down here to the arm, you can see he's got 5mm port, got a little bit of molded detail on the underside of the arm. More molded detail. This is more so for his dune buggy mode, so we'll get there when we get there. Of course, he's got a fist on there on that side, just like that. A little bit of molded detail, not really a whole lot going on the legs. You can see a little bit on the side. There's some pegs and whatnot. Moving down to the feet, shin sections here, again, more rubber tires, and we got the blue mold with a little bit of silver paint. Very basic feet there. Moving around to the side and the back, you can see there's a lot more gray almost on this side. We got some 5mm ports here on the back. Just a whole lot of plain, whole lot of just, you know, panels, and not really a whole lot of, you know, intricate molded detail, except for you look here on the back. There is a little bit going on here, and I really like the way the back looks, honestly. These are 5mm port compatible. They're just not as deep as the usual 5mm port, but you can port some stuff into there. And of course, we'll take a look at the gun in a minute. So yeah, there is Beachcomber. He is all around a solid little dude, and he looks exactly like you would expect him to. And I'm overall very pleased with how he came out here in robot mode. So, accessories. We mentioned them already a little bit. One accessory we get here, he's very, very tiny, is the Paradise Parakeet from one of his episodes of G1. It might be the Golden Lagoon episode. I honestly will fact check myself on that. It's been a while since I've watched the G1 cartoon, but yeah, he is soft, rubbery plastic all around. Oh, you can see he's so hard to sort of manage in this. Yeah, because he's so tiny, but he's got like a white speck. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so hard to focus on. There we go. He's got a white speck for the eye with a little black pupil in there. And then, of course, just a whole big black section down there for the perch piece, I guess. The way the instructions tell you to store him on there is he's got a little 3mm port there, so you can just port him on top of the shoulder like that. Or this black piece is 5mm compatible, which we'll use in the vehicle mode for storage. But so like you could put Parakeet here in his arm. There we go. In his arm like that, so it looks like he's kind of perched on there talking to him. Something cute like that, or you could put him even into his hand if you wanted, like that. So you can get creative with where Paradise Parakeet goes, but it's a really, really nice addition. He's just very, very small and probably will be prone to getting lost a lot. The other accessory that he comes with is his gun, which is kind of, it looks like it's molded in a weird way because it will form the grill of his vehicle mode. So, you know, you can sort of kind of tell it's got that sort of grill looking aesthetic to it, but I kind of like it. It kind of helps bulk out the side a little bit, makes it look a little beefier, a little bulkier. Done in, I believe it is molded in this gray plastic and the rest of the black is painted. I could be wrong about that, but that's from what I can tell. But yeah, you can see it's just a nice little gun. It's got a 5mm port on it. So again, if you wanted to store it here on the back, you absolutely could, just to keep storage out of it. Or if you wanted to port it maybe on the side of his arm instead, you can do that. So many options, so many varieties. So let's cover articulation on Beachcomber. It's fairly standard, nothing crazy going on here, but just to cover it, of course, the head is on a ball joint, which you cannot swivel it all the way around. Maybe it's not. No, it is a ball joint. Can't swivel it all the way around. It's getting blocked somewhere. Oh, nope, there it goes. Never mind. Just got to force it a little bit. It's all good. Yeah, so he can swivel all the way around just a little tight. He does go side to side. He can look up that far, down that far. So you know, typical kind of range. Arms swivel all the way around. They go out that far before they stop going out. Swivel here at the bicep. Elbow goes greater than 90, a little bit greater than 90. It's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, does go a little bit more than 90. And his wrists do swivel around. They're on a ball joint. I think they can be a little hard to touch because of the way they're kind of blocked in by by the side of his vehicle mode. Waist does swivel all the way around if you want to get that going. Legs go forward that far, all the way forward. They go backward that far as well. And the split, oh yeah, Beachcomber, that's a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 from the judges on the split. Great job, Beachcomber. He does swivel here at the thigh. He does have a knee bend that goes basically 90, just straight up 90, and then his ankle pivot as per usual. One thing I noticed that was a little odd while we're talking about articulation is if you bend this down, you can see a little square peg in there, and if you push the leg up enough, it'll soft lock into that little peg, so you can keep his legs pegged straight. Those don't play into transformation. Nothing clicks into them to transform or anything. So I'm not sure why they included those there to sort of soft lock in robot mode, but hey, if you wanted to lock his knees, you certainly could do that. But yeah, I mean, he's fairly posable, as we've come to expect with figures these days. So why don't we go ahead and throw in a couple comparisons? All right, here's Beachcomber with all of the Minibots, the standard Minibots. Of course, there have been, you know, multiple repaints of Cliffjumper and whatnot that we've got so far in the Generations line, and I'm loving this crew. This is fantastic. I just really hope that we get a Gears soon. We get a Sea Spray, a Power Glide. Once we get them, man, I'll be set. But yeah, this is a great looking bunch. Just for fun, here's Beachcomber with a standard Masters of the Universe Masterverse figure, this one being Vicron. Now, I never actually got Titan's Return Beachcomber, and I'm assuming they're going to be roughly similar in scale. So here is Legacy Beachcomber with Combiner Wars Power Glide, who, again, I hope we get a Legacy version of quite soon. All right, I think that about covers it for Beachcomber's robot mode. So let's go ahead and get this guy transformed up into his dune buggy mode. Alright, and here we are with the dune buggy mode. And honestly, it's not bad. I mean, it's small, it's cute, again, it's very simple, but it is very Beachcomber, and for the most part, I like it a lot. It's very nice, and you can see how it's weird, because I want to say compacts up, but he kind of like stretches and folds, so I don't know if you can count it as compacting, but anyway, let's go ahead, check out the details on the dune buggy. Alright, coming up here at the front now, you can see, of course, here is the gun, which is now his front grill plate, which I think looks a little odd just because of, it's got, a handle coming up here and a gun spout coming up there, but oh well, what can you do? He's got a couple of headlights going on here. They're just done in all gray. Of course, those nice, beautiful rubber tires that we mentioned. If you unpeg the gun, you can see at least the gun hides a peg hole and some exposed knees out of it. So, pick your poison on how you want that to be. Let me just line that back up. Get back in there. There we go. He's got those silver pieces that were on his leg now obviously are fully formed as a very diamond-esque home plate looking deal going on here. And of course, we got his little front screen piece there moving over to the sides of the dune buggy. It's got that sort of grippy, I don't know what you call this, but it's that like material that you use to not slip around and whatnot. That was the back of his arms. Now it's the side. Of course, what were his feet now have become the sort of canopy section. We've got a couple seats here that peg down, and of course the sort of roll bar piece up at the top. And I didn't show this in robot mode because I wanted to show it, save it for here. But if you actually look on his, right here, you see he's got a little steering wheel in there with some controls over on the other side. That's the bottom of his feet. So he actually has some stuff molded on the bottom of his feet so that in the dune buggy mode, you can see he's got, steering wheel and stuff there. I think that's really, really neat. And of course, what was his back now here in robot mode, you can see is kind of like the engine block. I don't really know how dune buggies work, so if it's not an engine block, I'm sorry. Coming to the back here, you can see his head right there, just in the little cavity. But now, of course, he's got little tail lights there, and these were the pieces that were where Paradise Parakeet rested. And you can use them, I guess if you wanted to put blast effects on the back to make him like he's going super fast, you could do that. I didn't mention it, but of course you can put blast effects on the gun as well in the front, which let's look at the bottom really quick. Not a lot going on the bottom. It's kind of I mean, his chest is just there. His hands are sticking out. But again, it's from the bottom. You don't see him from the side or from the top. So understandable. And it's not really that big of an issue for me, honestly. The gun is what I was going to mention. If you want to not have it as a roll bar on the front, it's got, you can see here between the handle and the gun, this weird kind of cutout right there. Well, that is so that you can put it on top of the dune buggy like that. So if you need to have him going down the beach, doing a little, get on there. There you go. Doing a little pew pew action, you could certainly do that as well. Nice look, honestly, but again, I prefer to have it down here on the front as the sort of cage, whatever that is called. Yeah, and again, so the rubber wheels, yeah, he rolls pretty well. You can see, it's not as, I wouldn't say it's as free-flowing as something with plastic wheels, because the rubber helps kind of, the rubber, has a little grip to it, so it rolls and it rolls very well if you give it a nice big push, but it'll kind of stop itself. And you can see sometimes when I do a review, you guys will notice sometimes figures will be rolling like that, but he won't roll as much because of the rubber. So yeah, I mean, overall, he's a nice looking little dune buggy guy. And let's bring in all the other Minibots here. All right, so here's all our Minibots in their vehicle modes. And yeah, man, I love these. I love these so much, especially Cosmos Warpath over here. I think they're great. Beachcomber is a fantastic addition to this Minibot lineup, and I cannot wait to get more. Here's Beachcomber in vehicle mode with Vicron. Again, obviously Vicron cannot ride inside. This is definitely not to scale. And here he is again with Combiner Wars Power Glide, so you can see. Honestly, they're the same height. That's interesting. I did not expect that. And yeah, girth-wise, you can kind of see that. Interesting size. You can see how different they were in robot mode, but how, you know, kind of similar size-ish they are in robot mode. But again, really hope we get a legacy version of Power Glide. All right, so that's going to do it for my closer look at Legacy Evolution Beachcomber. So I'm going to reuse the same joke I made in the front. Let's go ahead and beachcomb our way back up to me for my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on Legacy Beachcomber here is I think he is a fun little dude. I was super excited when they announced him because I never got the Power of the Primes version, so I needed a Beachcomber in my collection. And this guy definitely fits the bill. He's solid, he's simple, but he's also a lot of fun at the same time. So overall, pretty pleased with Beachcomber, and I think if you're getting all of the other modern Minibot updates, that you'll definitely want to go ahead and grab Beachcomber. Alright guys, that is going to do it for my full review of Transformers Legacy Evolution Deluxe Beachcomber and Paradise Parakeet. Go ahead and let me know what your thoughts on this figure are down below. Let's talk all things Legacy Beachcomber in those comments. And guys, that wraps it up for another episode today of deceptibot9 Reviews. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. I do really truly appreciate it. And as always, I've been your host, deceptibot9. Thank you as always for joining me, and I will see you all later.